This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
You know, it's not that cut and dry with Billy Zane in Titanic. He's painted as this, like, truly evil guy, but there are layers to it, gentlemen. Like, yes, did he use that child unfairly to get on one of the rescue boats?
I have a child!
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what was going to happen to that child had Billy Zane not snagged them?
Yeah.
They would have gone down with the ship. Billy Zane saved a life.
I have a child! Yeah.
What happened to that kid? Because I've been watching... Listen, I'm not going to watch the movie, but I've been watching videos on YouTube about this. Where was that kid later on? Because I didn't see that kid anywhere.
He ditched the kid.
And where were the kid's parents, by the way?
Yeah, the kid's parents probably ditched the kid, too. Also, when the Titanic was going down, it was a fairly hectic situation. Because nobody, I mean, not even God himself could have struck down that ship.
There was fireworks. I saw fireworks flying while the Titanic was sinking, which seems ridiculous.
No, those were flares. Those were flares, but nobody, like, Jim Cameron did such a great job. When he panned out and you saw what little impact the flares actually
Who would
had.
see that, by the way? There's a boat upright with the electricity on.
Yeah.
And people are going to see flares, but not this ship that's like 70 feet in the air, upright.
That's an excellent point, but maybe the lights are dimmer than the actual flare.
I have a child!
You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, the kid lost its parents, but Billy Zane saved that kid's life, and then Billy Zane probably, when he got to Ellis Island or whatever, he just here, take this kid.
No, I think Billy Zane used that kid to get himself into one of those rafts, and then once he got into the water, he dropped the kid into the water.
I have a child!
You think he dropped the kid into the water? No, he's not even.
Never saw the child again. I never saw the kid again, Mike.
You totally misinterpreted like how evil Billy Zane is. Billy Zane's well within his rights to be mad at Jack. Jack totally moved in on his lady. Now, I understand she was going through this whole journey of self-discovery. She was sort of promised to a man she didn't really feel anything for, but she could have given him the time of day, like from the very get-go. Very snappy towards Billy Zane. Like, what did I do to you today?
What was her name? Rose?
Rose.
She seemed to have an agenda when she got on that boat.
She did.
Like, I'm watching the music video, right off the top, she gave Leo the eyes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then she tried to jump off the boat or something, right?
Yeah.
And then Leo, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah, with the jumping off the boat thing also.
Explain this to me.
Oh, your life is so hard, Rose.
Yeah, you're in the first class.
Leo's this hero who saved her from jumping off the boat.
Yes.
And then later takes her to the edge of the boat again?
Yeah.
Seems very irresponsible for someone who was about to jump off a boat.
No, but he was there with her the second time so she could feel like she was flying. And then when she had that experience with Leo holding her, she's like, oh, maybe this life is worth living.
Happiness.
I have found love.
Freedom.
I have found myself because
She found lust.
Love she never felt with Billy Zane. I mean, love she never felt with Billy Zane.
I have a child!
You don't think that she ever had a moment? I would you know what? Titanic needs a prequel. Because you don't think there had to have been sparks at some point between Rose and Billy Zane. Had to have. Had to have been sparks at some point. And for her to just get on that ship and pretend like he doesn't exist and bringing Jack to dinner?
Oh, my
Bringing Jack
Wait,
to
what did she
dinner?
do?
Because she tried to shoot this pseudo-suicide attempt, which was really just a desperate call for help. She then said, oh, Jack saved my life, which is not the case.
Wait, hold on a second. She's just going around parading that I almost jumped off the boat and
Rose
the stranger
is
saved me?
So selfish.
Billy Zane didn't seem concerned. Why did they let her out of the cabin?
So selfish. And by the way, correction from yesterday, we were saying that was Jack's jacket that Rose had when the ship was going down. No, that wasn't. That was Billy Zane's jacket.
I'm a child!
Trying to keep her warm.
Are you Billy Zane's jacket truther?
I'm a child!
They seem to be dancing like under. Where are they dancing, spinning in circles? That looks like more fun than
that's actually where Rose and Jack truly fell in love because
they're having fun.
I didn't know. True story. I didn't know my wife was the one until we went Irish river dancing in the bowels of a ship.
Oh, that's right.
This is look at this. I'm looking at it right now. They're like on the fourth rail, standing at the top of the rail in the front of the ship.
Those
this is incredibly dangerous.
Rose and Jack were real rabble rousers.
Were there no security guards? I've been on cruises. I've never been able to get to the front of a ship.
Wait, so Mike, you want to go back to when Rose met Billy Zane?
I have a child!
absolutely want to go back there. What was their relationship like? What was the dynamic? I'm sure Billy Zane looks like a charming man. What does he have? Oil
This
money?
iceberg's enormous. How did they miss that iceberg?
You're right. You know what?
I always thought it was small. This thing's huge.
No, these two idiots. I mean, they're sitting there and they're talking, and they don't realize the iceberg is in front of them until like 5 seconds.
It's
before they
almost
can hit it.
unrealistic how big this iceberg is.
And that's why Billy Zane had to scramble to find a kid.
Now he's shooting guns at people. Where did he get a gun from?
Oh, that was from the scientist from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. He was Billy Zane's body guy. And he was on to this whole Jack scheme from the very get-go.
Was he?
From the tip.
Wasn't Billy Zane a domestic abuser though?
Well, that's how they made him evil. Okay. Because there was all this sort of ambiguity about how evil Billy Zane was. Here he is. Do I like them? He's saving kids' lives. So he slapped Rose because
Rose seems to have a life jacket on.
That was too far. Absolutely. Billy Zane should have apologized. Probably should have been arrested on that ship. Yeah. But he was running that along with the scientist from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
Wait a minute. Right. Rose has a life jacket on. Why did she need that piece of wood that the other guy could have been on?
Well, don't even get me started. We know that Jack and Rose could have both fit on the plane.
But she had a life jacket. She didn't need that door or whatever.
It was
Well, that's what you do when you're in love, man.
There's an iceberg in a submarine. Right there.
You know who wouldn't have done that? Billy Zane.
Why didn't they climb on the iceberg?
You're right.
Why didn't they just climb on this massive iceberg and just chill out there for a little bit till someone found them?
As well.
Well, they couldn't grab onto the iceberg.
Why not?
It's slippery. It's ice.
Was Billy Zane wearing a wig in this movie? Was it his real hair?
He had some dope hair.
Are you trying? Come on now.
I forget.
Come on now.
Be serious.
It is good hair. Is it not real?
No, it's terrible hair. It's a terrible hairpiece. It's the worst. The scene where the smokestack falls on Danny Nucci, Jack's best friend.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Sad.
It's a tough scene, man.
It's a tough scene, but his hair looks absurd in that scene. It's the worst. It's John Travolta levels.
Oh, no.
I encourage all of you to Google search Billy Zane wig.
I'm a child.
These rooms had gaudy wallpaper. Oh my god!
You know what?
I mean,
you know what? For
that's
me,
how it was back then.
I mean, obviously, it's a movie full of sad scenes, but the scene where the old couple are spooning as the water's passing beneath their bed.
Yes.
Oh.
Was there a time when everyone wore these Kentucky Derby hats just all willy nilly?
Yeah, just every day.
Yeah.
Even in the house.
It's like a big event hat, though.
It was, oh my god, it was the thing to do to, go on a ship and see his ship off. Like, you had to see, and Titanic was unlike any ship we had ever
and
seen.
I'll tell you, the guy who rocked that hat the best was Billy Zane.
I'm a child!
These two were not doing... They made no effort at keeping this affair secret. They're just doing this everywhere, in front of everybody.
I know. They were just taunting their love. And you can understand why Billy Zane worked himself to a point. Now, he crossed the line, certainly, but he's well within his means to be upset. Sort of Macho Man levels, again, revisiting how the Mega Powers broke up.
Yeah,
because Hulk Hogan was totally moving in on Miss Elizabeth. History will never remember that.
Yeah. This ship wasn't really that big. Like, I'm looking at modern renditions of what the ship would look like. It's like...
Oh, yeah. The Carnival Cruise lines that we pass by every day are bigger than Titanic, basically. Yeah. But Titanic for its time. The thing that bothered me most about Titanic was how still the water was.
Hey, look,
for me, it was Billy Zane.
I'm a child! There's no weather? I mean...
They're kissing at the top of a staircase and a bunch of people are applauding?
Oh, that's the afterlife.
Was this?
No, that's the afterlife.
These are the ghosts kissing?
Yeah, the ghosts.
Wait, there's a ghost Titanic in heaven?
There's a ghost Titanic in heaven.
Did it sink?
Is Ghost Billy Zane there?
You know who went to hell? Yeah, Billy Zane. Say hi to Art Briles when you get there.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive's Home Insurance. Get your quote at Progressive.com today. The NBA playoffs are on ESPN Radio. Tune in tonight as LeBron and the Cavs visit the Pacers.
I'm all she has in this world.
Presented by Barbasol Razors. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on most ESPN radio stations.
I'm a one-trick pony. Literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Don Batard.
I have a child.
Stugotz.
Farts smell worse when you need to make a poopy.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Pablo Torre is in with us, always grateful for his highfalutin presence. He is polysyllabic, ostentatious. He rains down judgment from the heights of Mount Pablo. He's also one of the few original thinkers that you will find anywhere in this business. And trust the process. That entire phrase was brought to you by Pablo Torre. He is an NBA expert. He is a preeminent sports writing authority.
Yeah, he lifted that from Tony Roten.
Okay, but trust the process is something that Pablo actually made famous. And Pablo Torre is in with us, and we are in the middle of the NBA playoffs. And this guy writes in ESPN, please remove Stugotz and Batard. This bleep is terrible. It's the week before the draft, and they're talking about Titanic.
You don't get the show.
How about this Titanic 2 that's coming out?
What are you talking about?
Jack's back.
That's
the title.
No,
Titanic 2, Jack's back.
I think you're reading
2019.
I think you're reading the internet wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
There's all sorts of fun theories, though, about Titanic and it being a prequel for some other movies, though. There was one where Jack actually survived the wreckage and he reinvented himself as the Great Gatsby in New York. They even toast the same way.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the more fun ones are the ones that tie it into that Jim Cameron's just building this huge Terminator universe. And the thing that really set the table for it was Titanic, because John Connor sent Jack Dawson back in time to protect Rose, who is indeed Sarah Connor's grandmother. Whoa. So he needed to protect the bloodline. But in a weird twist, not being protected from Terminators, but, a shipwreck and an iceberg. It's kind of weird. A bit of a stretch, but there's enough evidence there.
Cinema Blend has lots of time travel evidence. First of all, let's just get this one out of the way. It's believed that Jack went back in time to save Rose, and in doing so, or actually, he went back in time. If he would not have saved Rose, they would have stopped the ship to search for Rose, and that would have delayed the impact with the iceberg.
Hold on a second. Did James Cameron, and he's been asked a lot about Titanic, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the greatest disputed thing about Titanic that the wood would have supported both of them, that Jack didn't have to give up everything for Rose. It was just selfish because James Cameron needed to finish the movie romantically. That they both, and James Cameron has said, no, that would have sunk. James Cameron has answered that question. The artist has been interrogated and said, no, that could not have happened. Are you willing to take his word for it?
He's actually just super defensive when it comes to it. And if he could actually have the gift of time travel, he would go back and make that wooden plank smaller, because it's ruined Titanic in many people's eyes.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo.
This time travel thing, though, and the jumping and the iceberg, it's like a trolley problem. Like, if you knew how this would end, would you rather have a trolley hit 5 people or 1 person, Dan?
My favorite genre of problem is the trolley problem. I took a college class, and that was the subject of my first lecture, and that's how I grew to like college.
Thank you, Mike.
Jeez,
you were like
exciting.
And that's how I grew to like college. Is how that.
But it's a real brain teaser with ethical implications.
What'd you do?
I think you gotta push the fat man.
Why'd you look at me on that?
So push Dan.
Wow.
What happened?
Gods, I made the joke before you did. You weren't even listening.
I wasn't. I had someone in my ear, sorry.
So here's more evidence of time travel.
No, I was complimenting them. I was complimenting.
Fine.
But wait. Do people know what the trolley problem is?
Explain it to them, Pablo.
How much do I owe you?
It's basically...
Seriously.
That is the sound we play whenever Pablo is highfalutin.
So Billy was just saying that Jack saving Rose from jumping into the ocean the first time, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you were talking about the end of the movie in which Jack surrenders his life to save Rose, but the point that Billy was talking about is the point where actually if Rose fell into the ocean, many lives would be saved. The trolley problem is the question of, do you push a fat man over a rail to derail a train that is about to kill, 20 people, whatever the number is, more than one fat guy.
Yeah.
Or more than one guy, to be fair.
So basically, do you cost one life to save other lives?
But don't you want to hear more about Pablo's thesis and what is the best of these moral conundrums? Because I like the game.
No thanks.
Hold on. Huge hole in this line of thinking. First, someone would have need to have seen Rose jump in. And if you recall, the captain was pushing the ship to a point that he wasn't necessarily comfortable with because they wanted to make it to New York in record time. That's what was most important.
That's right, greed.
They wouldn't have been circling around for Rose.
That's right.
We have more evidence of time travel anyways. We can get to that. So here's the thing. I'll just read it straight from cinemablend.com. Let's look at the evidence. Jack doesn't have any currency in this time period, so he has to gamble in order to get the ticket in the first place. He mentions fishing in Lake Wissota, which is a man-made lake created in 1917, 5 years after the Titanic sank.
Oh, no.
His haircut seemed completely out of place for the era. Furthermore, that rucksack wasn't common until the late 30s. He claimed he will take Rose on a roller coaster on the Santa Monica Pier, which wouldn't be built until 1916. What else would Jack have knowledge from of these future occurrences?
People are writing in that MythBusters has proven that that the weight wouldn't have been supported, that Jack had to die in order for Rose to live, that the wood would not have supported that weight.
I was down on that show when they got rid of the three helpers, Carrie, Grant, what was the other guy's name? I don't remember the other guy's name.
MythBusters, $2.
Yeah.
I feel like, is MythBusters a reputable authority, though?
Are they?
Is MythBusters like one of those commissions you pay for, but it's your lawyers?
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is MythBusters a reputable authority as it relates to basketball? You know that I'm less interested these days in the individual storylines.
Torre, that was the other guy. He was the cool one.
Oh, yeah.
Torre.
I like
what made him the cool one?
You know, Grant was kind of nerdy, and Carrie was like, Carrie seemed fun, but Torre was like, he had the tattoos, and he had the cool hair, and it was like, yeah, science is cool, Torre says so.
So I'm less interested in whether or not this team beats that team and more interested in the idea of we are watching basketball change right before our eyes. We've seen it very quickly get to the point where, all right, Steph Curry is the greatest of the evolutions of the NBA evolutionary man. He can do it from distance with a shot that has more value. But that's not the way survival of the fittest and evolution works. The way that works is the Embiids and the Anthony Davises have to come and get what it is that Steph Curry has, and they're doing it. Embiid, they can do it.
Hold on, Steph Curry also has Kevin Durant.
I know, but what I'm saying, but the thing that beats the thing that beats Kevin Durant is Anthony Davis and something else.
Right.
Like that Anthony Davis isn't enough, but Anthony Davis with LeBron or something else is a different conversation.
Or Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, apparently.
Or Mirotic.
Well, Mirotic is another one of these extraterrestrials. That thing didn't exist 15 years ago, that biblical shepherd.
He is 6'10", 6'11", you're right. He can rebound, but he can also go out and hit threes. And he can defend the three as well. You're right. That guy, maybe Larry Bird, but he's a modern day like Larry Bird, right? Because Larry Bird, how many years did Larry Bird hit 100 threes? Was it one or two?
He never hit 100 threes.
I think Mirotic did that in half a season this year.
Larry Bird never hit 100 threes. His high was 89.
We remember him because of the three-point shooting contest and trash talk, but he actually is nothing close to the three-point shooters of today. But the thing about the evolution of basketball is that this should be obvious in retrospect. Like, all these guys developed more and more skills. First it was size, then it was skill, then it became size and skill. That's kind of what happened if you take the 1,000-foot view of it. In many ways, Joel Embiid is the iceberg. Hassan Whiteside is the Titanic.
I found a picture of Torre at the lake. It doesn't look like he has tattoos, but he looked like he would have tattoos.
Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, dollar.
Buffalo Wild Wings. The weekend is here. You can get it started on the right note by enjoying the great food and beer at Buffalo Wild Wings while watching the game with your friends. It is a fun place to be.
There's a new boss in town at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he deals in bacon. I love anyone who deals in bacon. It's the Bacon Boss Burger featuring bacon 3 different ways and a blanket of white cheese sauce. And he's joined by other new favorites like the smothered cheesesteak quesadilla.
Hold on. Stugotz, hold on. Roy, can you say on air what you just said in my ear?
Stugotz never paid his fine. The money is back in his pocket.
He just took it and put it back.
Money.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you. Thank you, Roy, for being vigilant about this. He got away with one. We didn't notice that he had done that. Thank you, Roy.
I mean, I think you mistakenly thought this was money. I mean, none. I have none.
Okay.
And how about Billy's $2? How about that? I'm the only one paying the fines around here. That's the problem. I'm the only one. I mean, I'm fine putting the money in, but where's Guillermo's $2?
That's $2 more.
All right. Why is it $2 more for?
Blaming Guillermo.
I'm making Guillermo accountable. Pay your fines, man. I'm going to pay this fine, Billy, just this one time, okay? Here's your $2. Pablo, you get fined for anything?
Nope.
Okay. And how much do I owe?
You owe 9 from previous fines.
Get out of here now.
I have the IOU.
Nope.
IOU.
It does say that.
Yep. Not paying it.
It's
That's Guillermo's fault. I told Billy to remind me yesterday I owed that money, and he never reminded me. That's on him, not on me.
That's $2 more.
Yeah, you blame Billy again.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Anyway. See if I have money. Oh, I don't this time. Amazing. Fell into a different pocket.
So that's another $1.
Okay. Anyway. That that Bacon Boss Burger.
Do you have anything else other than 3 minutes of the fine joke, or is that all you got?
Hey, no. That Bacon Boss Burger, man. And you watch your tone. That's a fine for you. And pay it. I'm tired of you not paying it. You know what? Hold on a second, Buffalo Wild Wings.
We're 3 minutes late on this segment because you're making fine jokes. We're 3 minutes late. You still haven't read the sponsor thing.
We're still on the air?
Your tone's out of control. You're like $100.
I'll pay $5. Read the sponsorship.
I'm taking my
Read the sponsorship.
It's like $500.
Stop making fine jokes.
It's like $500.
Don Batard.
They've been around since 1896.
Oh, get out your wallet.
That's why I was getting the money ready.
Stugotz.
I don't think Stugotz should be fined for that.
Great, money back in the pocket.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Pablo Torre in with us. Read him in ESPN, the magazine, occasionally, less so than ever, and also a television show coming soon. What's it called? Do we know? Does it have a name yet?
Bomani and I would love nothing more than to announce it today, of all days, but we cannot. Stay tuned, though.
Okay, so he's coming soon to your television sets with Bomani Jones, but we've been talking about how basketball has gotten more popular with young people because of the soap operas, because they're petty on Twitter, because the personalities are real. They're not hidden behind face masks. They're not pretending to be something in front of their lockers. And the best representation of that and the future of this league, if it can stay healthy, is this extraterrestrial from Philadelphia who physically is bigger and badder than everyone in the sport physically and has the personality to match it, where he's in his first playoff game and he's telling the crowd on the road to keep quiet, to be quiet. And when they break his mask, he looks like a superhero out there with a mask. They break his mask.
Oh, until the mask. I thought you were talking about Bellinelli.
They break his mask. Justice Winslow, who's all of a sudden become a back alley guy. I don't even understand. Private school Duke. What has happened?
Street
here?
justice.
I don't even understand what's happening with Winslow. It's very disorienting.
Was it just last night? Has this been a trend?
Mike, it's been happening for a while. Mike said, we don't know how he made how the whole private school to Compton thing that he did.
He's one of the toughest guys in the league right now.
It's very strange.
He's one of the most hated players in the NBA.
And he's scoring a bunch of points yesterday. Now he wants
to shoot the three. He's blocking Joel Embiid.
Okay, but Pablo.
Then it was the second half.
How here are you? Yes, that's right. And then the fourth quarter happened, and Embiid was the superhero.
Well, you had to adjust to Justice Winslow, obviously.
So, what do you do, Pablo, with this personality type? Because I am so here for a guy who's going to be a top 5 player in the league and gives exactly zero bleeps about how you receive him on social media and how you receive him in general, talking trash. He is playing a professional wrestler's role at that size. He is hushing a road playoff crowd after making threes as a 7-footer who's the biggest person on the court.
He is what we want. he is what we all deep down inside actually want from sports. We want entertainment to feel a little bit dangerous. Because the thing about Joel Embiid and what he is and how popular he is and the fact that, like, we're all stockholders in Joel Embiid, right? Who is not? Is anybody looking at him and being like, yeah, I don't know about him? I think deep down everybody knows that he has the potential to be the best player in the league. And the question, given his personality, is how does this begin to feel old? When do we get tired of this? When does
already there.
And how about he do something? Serious, okay? Maybe that's what you want. I want a guy who's acts like he's been there before. This guy hasn't even won a series yet. Win a playoff series before you stop, before you start hushing home crowds. Seriously. I'm telling you, Joel Embiid, like, he's getting a little bit ahead of himself. You won one playoff game. You're 1-for-1 in the playoffs. Do me a favor, win a series. And when you're done with that, win another series. And when you're done with that, win another.
Yes. Finally, someone said it.
Thank you.
But he's going to do all that very soon.
Okay.
And
when he does it, then he could do that. Okay. But until then, stop.
But that's Stugotz. That's the beauty of him.
No.
The beauty of him is that he's telling you exactly what he's going to do. The beauty of him is that he posted on Instagram the 4 teams that he would beat to get to win the NBA title. Right? He posted the Heat. He posted the Celtics. He posted the Cavs, and he posted the Warriors. And the thing about why that's not going to get old is because he's going to keep taunting you, and he's going to keep beating you.
Until he's out for the season with a knee strain.
Yeah. How about he beats you first before he taunts you? How's that sound? What a game.
How many games has this guy played in his career, honestly? Coming in
and do it without a mask. How about that? I mean, coward. Do it without a mask. Has he won a playoff game yet without the mask?
He has not.
He hasn't.
He has not.
But,
to his point.
But what Joel Embiid is undeniably better than everyone on the Miami Heat combined.
This is so...
Combined?
This is so...
Combined.
Pablo.
If you could trade everyone on the Miami Heat,
my God.
Joel Embiid, you would do it, and the Sixers would say, no thanks.
This is Sixers heel turn. Wow. I mean, you watch him, they're so unlikable. Yeah. It's not endearing what he does. It's cocky. It goes everything against what sports is about, which is just a competition, which is who's better. And we shake hands afterwards. That's not what this kid's about. Yeah. He needs an attitude adjustment. Yeah. And you know who's going to give it to him? Who's that? From the mean streets of Compton, Justice Winslow.
Yeah! Justice has been served!
Wait a second.
Oh, way to ruin it. Christ almighty. $2. That was the joke. Get out of here. You don't get the show. Bury her with you don't get the show. That's when you decide to talk.
You don't get the show.
Go lay on the couch for the entire segment. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Good God. Out.
Don Batard.
I mean, just an asinine thing that Disney pays us for. Just asinine.
Thank you.
Stugotz.
It's a clerical error, man. This is arriving at an accountant's desk in Disney, and then it's, wait a minute, how much is this costing us? Why?
More, please.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, everything you are complaining about with Embiid is everything you celebrate about the city of Miami. The Stugotz is strong in the entire cast today. We are all now listening to the Stugotz Show.
You don't get the show.
So Allison doesn't get the show. We try to end often on a joke. We try to end the segment on a joke. We aspire to that. Allison is afraid of the microphone. She's neurotic. She's crazy. She's afraid of the cameras. She never wants to be in front of the cameras. We had the joke at the end of the segment. It was timed well. And at that moment, for some reason, for the first time and the entire time I've known Allison, she came sprinting to a microphone to speak. It's baffling, Mike. It's what happened. What was happening there?
She never has the confidence to talk on the air like that. This Sixers win has got her all riled up. She's a different person. She's a front runner just like that team.
All right, can we check in quietly on what's going on the therapy couch? Allison's crazy. We're all crazy.
Shake hands and it's like, well, okay, that's not,
What do you do when you shake hands?
What? Like, he stomped on the mask and then tried to break it. Like, what part of that is, they're all... I shouldn't even be here today. I was supposed to work from home, and I came in because they're all just completely, like, incapable of... Everyone in the room, just in case. I'm the only adult in the room. So it's annoying. So I was downstairs dealing with Josh Norman. Oh, my God. So I came back up, and I heard Mike just going on and on about his ridiculousness. He's, like, delusional, this heat, like, whatever. So I was trying to...
And it upset you.
And Billy's encouraging me. He's like, come on. And I wasn't really paying attention to the
therapist sounds a little too much like Billy. It sounds a little too... Can we get a therapist in there who sounds a little less like Billy when she's complaining about Billy to Billy?
There's some irony in Billy being a therapist.
Right. I mean, those two are top of the rankings on weird around here, and Lord knows I'm qualified.
We all are.
We all are. That's why her head is in her hands right now.
He was encouraging me to do, like, he was like, come on, and he does that to me all the time. He's like the instigator, and he's always like, let's go, and then whatever. He's always just stirring the pot, Billy. He's like, the Reaper. That was his stupid idea. So now I'm stuck wearing this horrible costume.
We don't know what gender the Reaper is.
Oh
what?
Whoa.
I feel like they were really getting somewhere real, though.
Yeah, let's check back in.
Really the worst. I hate football season for that whole... And that's all Billy. That's Billy. The Reaper. It would be really funny if you dressed up in costume, and then he comes up with these stupid... He just sucks.
Okay, we'll check in. She's very sad. She's going through a brooding, dark period right now. But she's happy about her Sixers, and she should be, because... Man, it's so rare that you get something like what's happening in basketball right now, where you've got something like the Warriors, and I thought it was going to be the Warriors without any doubt for a long time, and now Houston's coming for them, and you can doubt Houston all you want, but Houston closed that gap faster than most of us expected, and we all know that on the horizon is whatever Philadelphia's got planned. Like, we know it. You can see from their assets that they're coming to stay here for a decade if they're healthy.
I think but the thing that makes you most nervous, it's obvious, right? It's whether or not that guy can stay healthy. That's the thing that makes you the most nervous. Because, Dan, if he's not healthy, then everything we're saying, which is accurate today, I mean...
But you could say all the same stuff about Steph Curry.
I understand
and
that.
We should.
I understand that. I know he's injured early in his career, but he has a longer history of actually staying healthy.
The only one you can't say it against is LeBron. The only one you can't worry about it with. I understand what you're saying, 7-footers, foot problems, but you can worry about Kevin Durant's foot problems too. He's a 7-footer if you want to.
I mean, I guess you could be been playing for a while, though.
What people don't realize is that the process, it didn't take all that long, and now we're seeing the results fairly immediately. Like, we can hypothesize about, is Embiid going to get hurt? When is that going to happen? But the Sixers are making moves, and they are going to make moves this summer that are going to reshape the league. The thing that always bothered me about Sam Hinkie being ousted was that he had a big swing in him. And I say that because in that story that I wrote, in which the process happened to become popularized nationally.
That's right, because you made Trust the Process nationally. Pablo Torre did that.
Mm-hmm. I did. But in that story...
Look it up on Wikipedia. It's a fact. We're not making that up. This belongs to Pablo Torre. He made Trust the Process popular.
Not Tony Rotten. Me. Mm-hmm. But Sam Hinkie in that story goes to Sixers ownership in his job interview and says, here's a PowerPoint presentation, and the biggest part is how I traded for James Harden in Houston.
Nut milk. So today I had to get macadamia nut milk, and the other day it was like Saturday night, and he's like, please get me, it's an emergency.
This is me.
He wanted cacao bits, and he was like, and gluten-free pancakes delivered to, I mean,
my girlfriend wanted cacao bits.
And then he's like, some random night, he's like, I really need low-sodium soup. Can you get that delivered?
That was for my dad.
And he also wanted ice cream delivered on a
turn that down.
Saturday afternoon.
I got a funny story.
Let her have her weekends, man.
Hold on a second. I call her on the weekend, and I'm like, my dad is sick. Can you help me, please? Can we get to his house some low-sodium soup? And she's like, where am I going to on a Saturday night? Get a low-sodium suit. She thought I needed something, that my father needed something salt-free to wear.
Poppy was demanding low-sodium soup?
No, I was trying to help my sick father get some soup is what I was trying.
Oh, he's sick.
She thought
Cacao bits.
Getting some real.
I really need gluten-free pancakes, and I know you love this, Allison, but he doesn't understand. No, I don't love to find cacao bits and gluten-free pancakes to be delivered on Saturday night, which is $30 pancakes, gluten-free, cacao bits. Cacao bits. He kept saying cacao bits. You know what they are? Cacao bits. It's a healthy chocolate. And then the macadamia nut milk. Who would drink macadamia nut milk every day? Do you have?
Every week during the baseball season, ESPN's premier baseball insider joins Dan and Stugotz to drop some hardball knowledge and take your calls.
Honey got me swishing like a dreadlock. She don't wrestle, but I got her in a headlock. Yabba dabba doo, make her bedrock.
Yeah! Here is Dan Le Batard, Stugotz, and Tim Kurkjian on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Commercial insurance through Progressive protects your business and your dreams. Choose from over 30 coverage options at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Tim Kurkjian going to join us in just a second. The NBA playoffs are on ESPN Radio. Tune in tonight as LeBron and the Cavs visit the Pacers. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. Here's your SportsCenter update. Stanley Cup playoffs. Bruins beat the Maple Leafs to go up 3-1. Capitals defeated the Blue Jackets to split the series at 2 games apiece. Trio of Game 5s tonight. Flyers at Penguins, Wild at Jets, and Avalanche and Predators. And finally, Iggy Azalea says, quote, "There is privilege that comes with the color of your skin." For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
A texter writes in, I tolerated Pablo, but now this thing that he uncovered the process is laughable. Did he create the barbershop show too? Get out of here, Pablo.
I would win that lawsuit, by the way. That's the difference. Come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me.
You have a patent on this thing?
You've often said
you would
that.
win what lawsuit? What's the lawsuit?
No, I'm saying if someone is going to sue to claim that they came up with an idea,
right,
not the person they're suing, I would win the lawsuit.
Unless the person suing you was Tony Roten.
Yes.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I would lose that.
He said trust
but
the
everyone
process.
else,
You quoted him.
I would
Okay,
definitely
all right.
beat.
I'd have won that trial. I've often said that.
So, Kurkjian, do you believe that Tony Reali looks like the guy in a 1986 Brooklyn pool hall who immediately pulls out a notepad and pencil to take bets when a fight is beginning to break out? Does Tom Rinaldi look like your realtor who has changed your closing date for the 3rd time? Does Brett Gardner look like the guy on the SWAT team who clears the first room? I like this one best. Does Jeff Van Gundy look like your uncle's ghost?
That's terrible. It's so funny. Okay.
But true. But true. Now your uncle has to be white, I think.
He's a ghost.
I know, but your uncle.
Right.
The uncle, when he was in the human form, he has to. Right?
He's the first one I've ever heard on this was Jeff Van Gundy as the mortician or whatever, the medical examiner.
Eating a sandwich.
Sam, get it right. He's got a half-eaten sandwich in his hand while he conducts an autopsy as a mortician. He's also the before and the cold commercial, and if you look closely, he's the Queen of Hearts. Look closely at his face, and you will see that he can also look like the Queen of Hearts.
Yes, Dan, the uncle needs to be white, by the way.
Thank you. Paul, I just needed confirmation on that. Paul, now keep in mind, just so you guys know, okay, Ned Yost looks like your white aunt's ghost, okay? Paul, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead.
Hey, Tom. You knew 1,000-player superstitions, and I don't think Ryan Zimmerman using the same shower every day was very weird. What you got this week?
Hey, do you have a weirder superstition than that?
Yeah, that wasn't a really weird one. That was, Edward Mojica, when he pitched in the big leagues, would sit in the exact same seat in the 4th inning of every game, and then as soon as the 5th inning came, he would dig a little hole at the front of the bullpen mound and then pour half of his red Gatorade into that little hole. only half of it, and it had to be red Gatorade. That's pretty weird.
And that's why he was the great Edward Mojica. What?
Oh. Timmy, imagine how good the Mets would be if they didn't have to trot out Matt Harvey every fifth day. He was terrible again last night. He's a fake ace. He's not very good. I think the Mets should have traded him about 3 years ago. What's going to happen here with Matt Harvey, Tim?
Well, that's a good question, Stugotz. I'm not sure he's going to get his next start. And last night he talked about, I'm a starting pitcher as opposed to I'm not going. He didn't say I'm not going to the bullpen, but he implied that. And it didn't sound like he was going to the minor leagues either, but he's going to have to go somewhere to get himself straightened out. They have a chance to go to the playoffs, and they're going to need him to be good, and right now he's not.
Does Mina Kimes look like your girlfriend's roommate who answers the door to tell you she doesn't want to talk to you right now? Does Mike Leach look like the guy who gets up as soon as the airplane lands and gives a frustrated hand motion as to why the people aren't getting off the plane? Does John Calipari look like the hotshot Carmack salesman who has to keep reminding you how he was able to snag front row seats to go see Kool and the Gang? Will, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead, Will.
Thank you. Back in his playing days, Jay Bell was named in a poll of his peers the most likely player to become a manager. Has there been any talk of him getting into managing or becoming a manager?
Yeah, he's a manager in the minor leagues, and I talked to him this spring in the Yankee system, and he told me, among other things, that the speed-up rules in the minor leagues actually work. The pitch clock and everything they're doing down there to try to speed up the game, it works, and he thinks there are enough young players that have gone through the minor leagues that eventually they're going to figure it out when all these speed-up rules come to the big league. So I like Jay Bell a lot. He was a good player. He's a smart guy, and he's managing in the minor leagues.
Mel, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead, Mel.
Hey, Tom, I was wondering, when you're hanging out with a girl that you like and she starts breaking wind in front of you, does that mean she's comfortable around you and likes you, or just hates you?
Oh, God. My least favorite topic. I would say she's comfortable around you, and you should take that as a really good sign.
What is your least favorite topic? I don't
No, just that whole thing.
Girls?
No, not girls. Well, I'm not good at that either, but the other part, I'm not.
Okay, you don't like to even refer to somebody having an upset stomach or any other. Your bathroom humor is not for Tim Kurkjian.
He doesn't like farts.
Absolutely not. I really am not good at that.
Okay, so what is it? Is it the word? Is there a family name around the house for what that is? Because Tim Kurkjian doesn't like that word.
I'm guessing Timmy says pass gas or something like that.
No, it's more than that. And then Rick Sutcliffe told me the other day where a friend of his went to the bathroom on an airplane years ago, and Sut found a way to open the bathroom door while the guy was going to the bathroom so people could actually see him going to the bathroom on an airplane.
Yeah.
That would be the worst thing ever.
That's very uncomfortable. It's uncool of Sutcliffe, but I got to be honest, I don't know if this is ESPN on ESPN Crime. If you ask me, like, ESPN's champion farter, like, Sutcliffe is somebody I would go with. He would be very proud of it, happy. Yeah. He would embrace that.
I feel like that story, though, isn't so terrifying because of the poop. Like, don't pin that on bodily function. That's perverse.
Yes, it's not good.
So you have Sutcliffe as the best farter of anyone at ESPN?
I mean, Tim, do you have another nominee?
No, I'm just trying to tell you that Rick Sutcliffe did that, and his friend thought it was hilarious eventually. I'm just trying to make the point, if that had happened to me and I was in the bathroom, I would have preferred the plane to go down right there at the moment than have to go through that.
How about Eduardo Perez? Come on, Timmy.
Oh, rival.
Timmy, come on.
Yeah, Boog.
Eduardo is like the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Nice people fart,
What does that have to do with anything? Why are you so judgy of farters?
I'm not talking about that. I told you I'm not comfortable talking about that. I stink at it.
Did you do that on purpose?
Farts also stink.
There's the subtle guy. There he is. Always the king of subtlety. Stugotz. Farts also stink. Parker, you're on with Tim Kurkjian.
They smell worse when you have to make a poopy. I mean,
what's the worst thing your wife cooks for you?
Ooh, he's putting you in a spot there, Tim. That's not fair.
I do all the cooking at home, so it's kind of an irrelevant moot point.
Dustin, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, Tom. My fiance has been away on business. I wanted to know how I could surprise her romantically when she gets back.
Boy, I'm really bad at this stuff. Well, I think candlelight, bottle of wine,
cliches,
something like that.
The way other people are romantic.
Right. I'm not good at that either.
All right,
so.
that's okay. It's all right to not be good at things. Gary, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Tom. How would you break it to your wife that she has bad breath?
See you, Gary.
Breaking Windhorst.
I think if she's your wife, you're just allowed to tell her that, and I think you'll be fine.
Say it again, please.
I think if you just tell your wife that she has bad breath, she's your wife, I think it will all be taken properly.
No,
That's
whoa,
terrible. That's a
that
terrible
is
idea,
awful.
Tim, that's awful relationship advice. Tim, what do you...
I don't know why I'm giving this relationship
I mean, that's
advice.
a good point. That's a good point.
You can say, honey, your breath, you need some help. I think you can say that if you're married to her.
Barty Smith.
I've met Marty like twice in my life, and he's hilarious, but I don't know him, so move on.
He didn't call him Marty
It's
Smith.
Marty. That's
There
fine.
it is. There it is.
Eduardo Perez.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him,
"Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash?"
His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good.
Don Batard.
You were saying off air that I don't know what actually happened in the game because if you'd just been listening to the radio, you wouldn't know what was happening in the game. So I want to hear this call. Do you know the shot we're talking about here, Pablo?
I have no idea what you've been talking about for about 5 minutes.
Stugotz.
Okay, so the Miami, North Carolina game last night. Miami won at the buzzer on a three-pointer.
After North Carolina seemingly tied it at the buzzer.
That's right.
That sounds like a thing I should watch.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Pablo Torre in with us. The basketball playoffs are in full swing, so I'd like to examine something as the sport continues to evolve, change in ways that are a bit unfathomable. If once upon a time, before Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki, you couldn't have imagined the idea of someone like Joel Embiid existing. Shaq from the perimeter. All of Shaq's skills,
right,
and also the perimeter.
Not just Embiid, Anthony Davis, just guys like that.
Well,
yeah,
but
crazy.
all of them. And so I don't know where the line is, though, because Houston is running Karl Anthony Towns out of the building, but Embiid is going to be able to do what he wants, always in basketball, and Anthony Davis even more so right now, because Anthony Davis is a more formed player than Embiid is. But eventually, if it's Embiid against Anthony Davis and they're both healthy, Embiid will evolve into the stronger version of all of those things because Anthony Davis is at what is close to his peak. Joel Embiid is just getting started.
There are more variations coming on Joel Embiid. We just don't know how many and at what rate. But we have come to learn that the next iteration of the greatest basketball player we can imagine on paper keeps improving. I think the question really is, what would a better Joel Embiid look like?
It's 50 more pounds. It's what LeBron is on Jordan. It's Jordan with 50 more pounds. It's Joel Embiid.
300 pounds.
Well, but that's what Shaq was, right? Shaq was 325.
Right. But you're saying having this guy be 325, grab rebounds, dribble it up the court, like lead a fast break because he's doing
like
that already.
It's Yao Ming doing it. It's Yao Ming doing it.
Because how else could you stop Embiid if not with that character?
If Greek Freak is already doing it in a way where you're like, wait a minute, can he dunk like just taking 2 steps from the half-court line? If that's what you're already doing on Greek Freak as the point guard, what's the next? Yeah, where is that person coming from? Andre the Giant of ball skills. Because what Embiid is doing, when he steps back yesterday to take a three, I'm like, how? How can he have confidence in that? How can he have confidence in that and sit there and hush the crowd in his first road playoff game? And the reason is he knows he's better than everyone else. Every time he goes out there, he's bigger, stronger, and better than everyone else.
He knows he's better than everyone else on that team. That's for sure.
On every team. You don't think Joel Embiid thinks right now, the way he behaves in public, I'm going to be the best there ever was?
I think you can project that in public. I think he's smart enough to know that he's not the best player in the NBA right now.
No, but that he knows he's going to be. If he stays healthy, if his body doesn't betray him.
Okay, that's fair. I'm certain he thinks he's going to be the best NBA player in the world. Yes, he thinks that. Of course, you have to think that, right?
But he's daring us to agree with his bet on himself. And that's the fascinating thing about all of this, is that all the things we're saying about how good Embiid is, we did know during the regular season. What we saw in his first playoff game was not an evolution of Embiid. It was Embiid. So the sample, limited as it is, Mike said earlier, how many games has he played? And yeah, he's played less than your superstar in this conversation that you may think is better than Embiid. But Joel Embiid is daring you to find someone better. And there is nobody. And when he wins that first playoff game, now the result's here. Right?
I don't think they believe. I don't think Mike Ryan. I don't think the people believe. I think they say we're overinflating Embiid. But since the moment you saw Embiid, I had the feeling this person, if he stays healthy, will be a top 5 basketball player of all time if he simply keeps his health because of what he can do in that body.
I think we're getting carried away a little bit. I mean, he's played 94 games thus far in the NBA. He's injured a lot. I mean, listen, he's a great player. We're talking about top 5 of all time if he stays healthy. That's absurd.
You're talking about him as if he's going to take the mantle from LeBron. I don't see a scenario where that guy is as great as LeBron is.
I think he's the next guy up.
I think Ben Simmons is the next guy up. I'm not even certain Embiid's the best player on his own team.
Here we go.
I'm serious.
Bellinelli, Simmons, Embiid.
That's the order.
Yep.
Off balance Bellinelli, patchy beard, shooting these sideways threes. That's the future.
I mean, come on. We were all three of us were marveling at Ben Simmons and how effortless he made that look last night. If he develops a jumper, my God.
Okay, but if he develops a jumper is not something.
And if Embiid stays healthy is also something.
Okay, but we're qualifying it with that.
And I'm qualifying it with if he develops a jumper, top 5 player of all time.
Who, Simmons now?
Yes.
Okay, good talk. Thank you for all the nuance that you provided to the conversation.
In fact, I'll one-up you. Top 4.
I love this conversation, though. Yeah, which Philadelphia 76er drafted under a regime that was widely criticized by the people promoting that argument?
Well, I am now looking more foolish than ever. One time, Henry Abbott from True Hoop came on here, and we asked him about the unscientific process of drafting, and we asked him, who is the greatest general manager in the world? And his response was Sam Hinkie of the 76ers, because he was doing things so differently. And they were tanking so obviously to skirt around the rules of competition. And Sam Hinkie is a pariah. Sam Hinkie is not only a pariah, and this happens so often with Pioneers, man. What was the reaction to Columbus when he started? Sam Hinkie said, no, this is the way to do it. You tank. And he gave the commissioner such a problem that the commissioner had to install the Colangelo family. Like the commissioner had to step in and say, Hinkie, you're so incompetent and this is so wrong. This Pioneer, you so are not a genius that here come the Colangelos. The cup checks aren't available. You know, the name in basketball that you come to fix things is is Colangelo.
The NBA, granted, disputes that characterization of events, but it is pretty clear that Sam Hinkie became too dangerous to exist. His idea was, if seen by the right people, obviously what you should be doing. And not until playoff games were won this year were people actually kind of convinced officially. Like, that's how the idea got converted, by a result. The entire time, if you had just listened to the dumb name that Joel Embiid gave himself, because I wrote about it in an article that clearly was fairly instrumental in this whole process. If you'd listened, you didn't need these games to know that.
Let's hear from Henry Abbott, being smarter than the rest of us. I believe I called him a kook.
Who is the best general manager in basketball?
I like to think that we might look back in 10 years and say Sam Hinkie. I know, I'm picking like the worst team.
What are you talking about? Abbott! Like, take it back!
The Sixers are really fully embracing, sports science, all this stuff. Like, they're not good now, but I think they're playing a very smart game that has not 100% likelihood of success, but a very high chance of success.
Get this kook off our air! Oh, no.
Don Batard.
Is there any job in sports scarier than kick returner?
I would put hockey goalie in the conversation.
Sport's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
They're skating on knives.
That's right.
They have
Let's talk about this. You're absolutely right. Let's talk about this for a second.
Stugotz.
We're going to look back in 100 years and be like, what the hell were we doing with hockey? They were skating on swords. And every once in a while, a guy got cut near the jugular.
We're out here upset that they're fighting in between. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Fight is it's a vacation. It's a tropical vacation.
You should be thankful that they're not using those swords they're skating on.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Wayne Newton, I don't know if he's our Vegas hockey guy. Maybe he'll become our Vegas football guy because they got football now, too.
He's our Vegas guy.
He's our Vegas guy, but our Vegas hockey correspondent is something that I want to get into with him.
They won't have football for 2 years. So fun.
Wayne Newton with us on ESPN Radio. Did Wayne, before this happened, thank you, Wayne, for making time for us. Before this.
Hey, you guys. It's great to talk to you.
Hey, Wayne.
Thank you, sir. And did you care about hockey at all before it came to the desert?
The truth of the matter is no. I think I've been working nights my whole life, and so I didn't get a chance to watch much hockey. And so when they came here, I was thrilled that they were here because of the fact that our town's growing and can support that. But I didn't realize that they would really take over in terms of and represent really the town in such an incredible way.
Well, how are they doing that? Explain it to us, because I think they're the most surprising story anywhere in sports. So explain to us what's happening with hockey in Wayne Newton's kingdom.
Well, what's happening is there have been a group of guys that evidently somewhere along the way have been turned down by other teams, and Bill Foley put them all together, and all of a sudden they caught fire, and the town is 1,000% behind them. And of course, I think they represent the epitome of what Las Vegas is, and that is, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Well,
and
yeah.
They're doing it.
Since you're the king of Vegas, though, Wayne, do you even need an ID to go anywhere in Vegas? I'm not even kidding. If you pull up in your car, is your face your identification?
Yes, it is. In fact, if I'm riding with my wife and we pull up to someplace, she rolls down my window and and they kind of open up the gate.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. Wait. So if the police pull you over, they don't even ask for a driver's license?
Give us a story. Give us a story. When's the last time Wayne Newton was pulled over and just rolled down the window in Vegas and was like, "That's not a ticket"?
Well, the last time I was pulled over was about 3 months ago. I was going a little fast down a side street, and they pulled me over, and I pulled into a parking lot. And it was a relatively young policeman, could not have been nicer. He was on a motorcycle, and walked up to the window, and he started to say, "Could I have your ID, your driver's license?" And I rolled down the window and handed him my driver's license, and he looked at me and said, "What's that for?"
All right.
And I said,
nice.
"You might want it." And he said, "No, sir, I don't need it. I just thought that maybe you were lost or something." Yeah.
I think Wayne Newton, yet true or false, Wayne Newton could kill a person in front of people and bury it in the desert, and the police might let him off.
Yeah?
Well, let's not go there, guys.
Okay, because it's already been done.
Right.
It sounds like there's a great business, though, Wayne, in being a Wayne Newton impersonator, then.
Well, I wouldn't know about that because I've never impersonated me, but I hope if there is one, he looks a little better than I look,
No, nobody looks better than Wayne Newton. For tickets to his Las Vegas residency at Bally's, because, of course, He has a residency there. Go to WayneNewton.com. What would you say? We've talked to you about the strange things that are exotic things that you have in your home. Can you tell us a nun? I've been told that a nun at one point was, not that that would be the strangest thing, but that a nun lived with Wayne Newton as part of his life.
That is the truth. As a matter of fact, I was divorced. My daughter was about 6 years old. She decided she wanted to live with me instead of her mother. And so I'm thinking, oh, my God, I've got to find somebody I can trust because I work all night. And so I had met this beautiful lady who was a Catholic nun, and I contacted her and asked her if she would be she'd consider being my daughter's governess. And so she contacted her hierarchy at the church, and they allowed her to do that as long as she continued to teach. So I was living in my home for about 12 years with my daughter and a Catholic nun. And then I was ending up on the front of the Inquirer with supposedly this lady and that lady and hiding out other ladies on the ranch, which was a total false thing. And I thought, if they only knew that I'm living in this
They had you as a ladies' man and you had a nun at home. A governess. I didn't even know what a governess was. What does one need to do to get a governess? Like, how does this work? Wayne Newton can just summon the church and say, hey, give me a nun?
No, I wouldn't do anything like that. I asked them if it would be possible that she could be a part of my life that way, and they talked it over and said yes, as long as she continues to teach at the Catholic school that she's teaching at. So that's, of course, where my daughter went to school also. So it worked a dual purpose, which is very, very nice, and I'm very grateful. She was with us 18 years.
18 years. What one thing that Wayne Newton demands to have backstage? It's not acceptable to not have it backstage.
The one thing that I demand, and the only thing that I've ever demanded backstage, is a second door.
A second door?
In other words, I will not be in a dressing room that only has one door in and out. Because I was working someplace, I think it was in Pennsylvania, and the dressing room was fairly small, and it had one door, and a fire broke out. And there was no way to get out of that door. Had the fire continued, it would have been ashes for me, but and I determined from that point on there would be two doors in every dressing room.
How about the beer, though, Wayne? Beer. Every show right backstage, no?
Beer? What kind of beer? How much beer? Wayne, quit laughing and tell us how much beer.
What kind of beer?
Coors Light.
Don't you require a certain? Yeah.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's part of my rider, and that is that.
Wait a minute, Wayne. You just forgot about
light.
You forgot about the unlimited beer. You forgot about that, Wayne.
Well, I do forget about those kind of things because I really don't drink a lot, and I'll have a beer once in a while, but it's not something that I couldn't live without.
Wayne, how has William Karlsson put this type of season together?
I tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. And what's even more phenomenal is that these guys have really stepped up, and they are really showing people what the Las Vegas Dream is all about. And so we're supporting them 1,000%. And of course, I was thinking the other day that from whence I came to Las Vegas, which was 1959. There were like 70,000 people here. To today, here we are now with a championship hockey team. And, of course, the Raiders are on their way here. And it probably is within the next 2 or 3 years that we can look forward to a Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Now,
Wayne,
that's something that nobody ever thought about.
You know how much we love you around here and how much we respect you. You told that story about wanting to tear out the tongue of Johnny Carson and telling Johnny Carson that to his face. But I've got to call you out on this, Wayne. You just did a great Las Vegas infomercial, but you did not answer Stugotz's question. And Stugotz, ask that question again so we could pin down our hockey analyst and not let him bull bleep his way through the hockey analysis. Pin down Wayne Newton.
I appreciate it, Wayne. But anyway, how did William Karlsson
put together? You be nice to me.
I am being nice to me. Listen, that was Dan. I'm just answering the questions and tone issues all the way around for Dan.
I've already paid my fines on
It seems like you own 50 more over there. But anyway, William Karlsson, Wayne, how has he put this type of season together?
I don't have the slightest idea.
Yes.
Dan Le Batard.
Dice Clay was the biggest comedian in America at one point, selling out arenas. And he is god awful.
Stugotz.
Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah, that's right. What's in the bowl?
Funny.
You remember the smoking of the cigarette?
Oh, yeah, behind
Smoking of the cigarette.
Little Miss Muffet, cigarette behind my head. Yeah. It doesn't age well.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Pablo Torre is in with us. We appreciate when he comes around here and makes things more highfalutin. We've told you, we were talking yesterday about True Hoop. It was really a cool way that ESPN was covering basketball. Different, by young people, for young people. Henry Abbott was the founder of that, and Henry Abbott was on with us breaking down basketball a lot. He'd yammer a lot. He was very good. As his basketball insight was exceptional. But, he was a yammerer. He made weird noises. He said the Sam Hinkie, he did some kooky things, including this was an actual answer. Henry Abbott was not radio polished. So this was an actual answer to a question by an analyst who knows a lot.
I
don't know. That's a thing that happened there. Henry Abbott was asked a question, and instead of giving a firm opinion, he did this.
I don't know.
So he's out of the radio business.
He's so smart.
He is.
Henry edited my 76ers piece.
Oh, for the love of God.
Jeez, enough already.
You know what? Put Pablo on the couch. Get him out of here.
Seriously,
Get Pablo out of here.
You're responsible for any
Honest
of this.
to God.
Weird,
he's taking the credit for what the 76ers are doing just because he quoted Tony Roten saying that you have to trust the process.
It's amazing. Just get out of here. Enough.
You deserve to be out on the therapy couch.
I do feel bad for Sam Hinkie, though. Does
Does
he get to enjoy any of this? Like, if they go on to the NBA Finals and win championships.
He gets to be right. Unemployed, but right.
Yeah, but he's got nothing to. Yes, he gets to be right. So I guess he gets that satisfaction. But you want something to show, hey, I put this thing together more than me just being right. You want a ring. You want something. You want to be a part of it. That's all I'm saying.
But look, man, pioneers. Real leadership always risks unpopularity. I think Abraham Lincoln said that. I think I'm quoting Abraham Lincoln there.
I thought was heavily underpromoted, and it was written in 2014-15, published early 2015.
Enough.
And I guess I'm just realizing like how little I've written since then.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm like preparing for this TV show, but I can't talk to people about the TV show because there are all these bureaucratic reasons, and we're super excited about the TV show. Well, Monty Jones and I, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, on ESPN 1, on ESPN Radio.
How does it make you feel?
Well, the issue is that in preparing for the TV show, I've been like not writing. And so I have to keep hammering this Sixers story because that's like my big stake, not just in like a good thing that's happening, but like in sports journalism. Like, I don't know if I'm even a journalist at this point. I'm just a guy talking about stuff he wrote 4 years ago. And that's probably why I keep on bringing it up.
I'll ask again. What are you doing?
So I'm preparing to host a television show on ESPN. And I'd love to tell you more about that, but that's the problem. Like, I need to feel like I'm being challenged.
Your feelings. I want to get into that. Your feelings.
I don't feel like I'm being challenged. That's the problem. Like, I went to Harvard. Like, I got really good grades. And I'm realizing that I can show up to work today with zero preparation. Not really listen. Like, I've been typing emails during the show. Like, I'm
Dan Le Batard.
Give us as much as you can here. Take us up to the dramatic first pitch, Billy.
Jose Ureña standing at the back of the mound. He reaches down. He's rubbing some dirt and rosin on his hand. And here we go.
Stugotz.
And the pitch. Oh, God, a home run on the first pitch of the game. Oh, my God.
Welcome, Derek Jeter. And that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So it's been a fun time in the history of our show here. We've gotten bigger and badder. ESPN has made us the biggest thing in sports radio. And so some cool people are coming through here, hanging out. Josh Norman's going to come through here in about a half hour. But we can't get rid of some people who are something less than cool. So what happens is, a month ago or whatever.
Not nice to say about Pablo. I mean,
what happens is a month ago is this drunk Jim Brockmire comes into our life, this old-timey, legendary minor league baseball announcer. Season 2 of Brockmire premieres April 25th on IFC. You can also watch Season 1 on Hulu. He's been downstairs at the Clevelander bar drinking and consuming all the sports coverage on all the televisions down there. Right. And so now I'm told they just said he knocked on the door here and he wants to talk about, we locked him out, but he wants to talk about quarterbacks because of what he's seeing, leading up to the draft. So Jim Brockmire joins us now. Season 2 of Brockmire premieres April 25th on IFC. You can also watch Season 1 on Hulu. Why should I care about the baseball broadcasters' opinions on the draft and quarterbacks?
Well, first of all, Dan Batard, I've moved on. I don't only drink at the Clevelander bar. There's other places to drink. Just because you open a tab for me there, I have moved on down the strip. I'm not exactly sure where I am, but I have had a few. So, cheers to you and to Stugotz. Hey, Stugotz, thanks for that boring update you just gave us. It really was genuinely boring. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you've been watching the televisions downstairs. You see all the coverage of the draft. You see all that, and what they're telling me that you're now interested in football and the quarterback.
Well, no, look, it's baseball season, but all you people are obsessed. You people, you sports talk people, are obsessed with the NFL draft as if that's all that matters. So I'm going to give you my take on it after having, sat there staring at it and had about 9 cocktails. So here we go. Ready? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Here's what. I hope the Browns take Josh Allen because it would be the most Browns thing ever to use the first overall pick on a quarterback who did not even pass for 2,000 yards and is basically a less accurate Blake Bortles. No, I love a handsome, inaccurate quarterback as much as the next guy. Because Tim Tebow, after all, you know this, is my favorite player of all time.
Of course.
But at least Tebow has God on his side and won a national title. Josh Allen could not even beat Eastern Michigan.
So right.
No, that's the worst. It's the worst of all the Michigan directional schools. Sure, Josh Allen, he's got a rocket. Everybody says rocket arm. He's got a rocket arm. But it looks like it was designed by the North Koreans, that rocket. Throws a 5-yard out to a running back, ball ends up dumping out in the sea in Japan. And that literally happened. Now, hold on a second. I need another drink. Sazerac neat, my friend. Thank you. Sorry, I'm back.
Sazerac.
Now,
wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good rye whiskey, and they sponsor my show too. Anyway, Sam Darnold is getting picked apart in this draft. One of the scouts knocked him. They said he had a bad face. Did you see that? They said that. They had a bad face. Let me tell you about another QB with a bad face. His 2-time Super Bowl champion, Eli Manning.
That's right.
The man is a freckled mouth breather. He cuts his own hair. He's a Hall of Famer. So let's not worry about Sam Darnold's face.
Okay.
Good.
Any other quarterback analysis that
Well, by process of elimination, that leaves me with Baker Mayfield. My choice, my pick, that's who I think is the best out of this because he reminds me of a young me. Guy runs around shirtless with a headband and grabs his junk in public a lot, and there's a police video out there. So that's who I love. That's my guy.
You like the rebel spirit of Baker Mayfield. Who wouldn't? Season 2 of Brockmire premieres April 25th on IFC. We've told you how great this is, okay? Season 1 was exceptional, and you should watch Season 1 on Hulu. You, if you listen to this show, are going to love this character, this show. Jim Brockmire, thank you, sir. Unless you have anything else. If you have any other football stuff you got for us, football complaints, baseball stuff, or if you Sazerac, if you want to just get back to the Sazerac, that's okay, too.
I do. I can combine both. I'm having the Sazerac while I talk and listen to you. And yes, you can binge my show, season 1 on Hulu, as I binge a lot of rye whiskey. So it's a win-win.
All right. Thank you, Jim Brockmire. Wait. I forgot to ask you. You're beefing with Musburger. He pooped in your bed, and now lately he doesn't like what's going on with you. He tweeted something out, and then it was the Rich Eisen show. What happened there?
I just told the truth about Musburger and what punk he is on the Rich Eisen show, and I guess he didn't like it, and he tweeted out some nonsense about I'm going to be buried in the desert by his goons or whatnot. And so I tweeted back at him my middle finger, basically. I didn't even say anything. Just what do the young kids call it, a GIF or a GIF or Jiffy peanut butter, whatever you guys call it in your generation. I did it to him with my middle finger going up.
And so that's it? That's it over, or is it just getting started? Is it going to escalate? What's going on with Musburger?
Oh, no, it's, look, I told Eisen, I got so many problems with Musburger, besides just him being a punk-ass bean. But it's well documented. He took a dump in my bed. That's the first punk move, right? Punk move. Yep, okay, I don't know. We talked about that on your show.
Right, punk move.
Then the guy, Batard, you know him. You ever eaten with Musburger? You ever had a meal with him?
I have not, unfortunately.
I got to itemize everything. Everything. We were out with Peter Gammons once. Had a meal with us. All he had was a Diet Coke. Okay, Musburger charged him $1.50 for it. Okay, and when Gammon said, "I don't even have my wallet," Musburger wrote out an IOU, made him sign it. Punk move. But worst of all, he's a thief. Is the main thing. What? Okay, you know, when he yelled out at the BCS title game, "This is for all the Tostitos." Remember when he said that? This is for all the Tostitos. That's my line. Everybody knows it in broadcasting. You know it. Stugotz knows it. Everybody knows it.
They do.
But he stole it anyway. It's what I yell out when I climax inside of a woman, or really just anywhere. It's what I yell out. It's my catchphrase. All right? And now he stole it. Now I have to yell out, "Ruffles have ridges." And it's just not the same thing.
Dame más gasolina.
Again, season 2, Brockmire, if you're dirty.
Oh, man.
If you're debaucherous. April 25th, IFC. You can also watch season 1 on Hulu.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Dan Le Batard.
It is an honor to be here. Seeing Poppy in person, you're like a Cuban Yoda. You're wonderful.
Really?
And, yes, and also you have a normal-shaped head, which is nice to see, because it begs the question, though, what the heck happened to you, Dan Le Batard?
Thank you, Jim. Stugotz.
America, his head starts off okay at the top, and then by the time it hits his ears, it expands out for some reason.
Yes, that's the calories usually. Yeah, that's
you have the world's only apple-bottom skull. As the kids say, it's THICC thick, my friend, so good on you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, "Can I send my car detailing bill to the gravy vampire at the Clevelander? I spit iced tea all over myself and the dash and the steering wheel, the navigation screen, when Brockmire waxed poetic on his sexual catchphrase." You can actually, sir. One of you will get payment from me for an invoice for whatever it is the detailing costs because of Brockmire doing that. Stugotz,
what's the address here? asking for a friend.
Well, the box here, actually, that's right next to me, has the address on it. What is this box? I was told that Sioux City sent a box here.
Sioux Falls.
It's Sioux Falls. It's a fun. Yeah, they're trying to buy me. Let me see. Hold on a second.
This is so wildly insulting to this place.
Sioux Falls? Yeah. That they're trying to have a Stugotz Day, and Stugotz keeps trying to jack up the price of his appearance fee and wants a private jet. The mayoral candidates are now running on a platform of we can get Stugotz to Sioux Falls.
And you legitimately keep calling them Sioux City.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not, that is a mistake that comes with age. That is, I'm not doing that on purpose. I'm not trying to insult Sioux City.
Obviously don't know what's in the box, but if it's not a private jet, I ain't going. So, we'll see.
All right, well, let's see but there's a box here. This is the mayoral candidate is sending you a gift. The mayoral candidate.
Doesn't sound like a private jet.
This is Joanne.
No. The nameless mayoral candidate, because we are a media entity, and if we start saying
equal
her
time.
name, you have to provide equal time.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry that I almost stepped on a corporate landmine there.
We are definitely not watching political lobbying in action.
His or her name.
His or her name, thank you.
Stugotz obviously never opening the Zappos boxes that get delivered to his house.
Why would I open them? They're not for me, Mike. They're for her, okay? I mean, all she does is open up my bank account and spend my money. That's it.
All right, so let's find out what is in this box if Stugotz can get it open before the weekend.
I don't think we want to reveal what's in the box. First off, it's not a private jet.
What's in the box?
I don't think, well, Mike, I mean, you might want to look in the box, and because...
What's in the box?
Mike knows why.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I hope it is actually a severed head.
It's not.
What happened? Is there some sort of political problem? Because
well, I mean, there's
the box isn't even open yet.
Very large
haven't
box.
Opened it yet. It is a large box. Are we going to get in trouble because we don't know what's in the box?
Well, no. I mean, there's just certain things like I don't.
It's like a vacuum cleaner-sized box.
Exactly.
Okay, now everyone's waving away. I feel like Morgan Freeman really is yelling to get away. Don't look. Everyone, what is happening here?
I made the right call there. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen from here, but
yeah, it would be hard to disguise exactly what it is, considering it's just a campaign sign.
So, okay, the political candidate is just simply. I thought it was a gift for Stugotz. No, the political candidate just sent him or her his or her name.
The Stugotz is strong in this candidate. I really thought it was a private jet. Clearly it wasn't. And now, I mean, just using me to get some votes here, which is absurd. Now I have swung back to the other mayor. I got to be honest with you. The current mayor of Sioux Falls. I have swung back to that guy.
Okay, I don't know what any of that is. I don't think we're allowed to do
it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can do any of that.
Right. Any of what we just did, I don't think is allowed. So let's go to some Dave Gettleman sound. He's the New York Giants general manager. He's a gas bag. He invented football. Mike, what is this sound from this guy who invented football that we love to make fun of because he's going to tell us what it's like to be a New York football giant?
Let me tell you something. When I was a little kid, every time I lied, I got caught. And when I was 7 years old, my father kicked my butt. And I haven't lied since then.
So wise. I mean, how did he have such an amazing father that would pass down that wisdom that would keep him as not a liar for all those years?
I don't want guys that like to play football. I want guys that hate to lose. That's what I want.
That's deep, man. Deep thoughts.
Hate to lose, man.
Deep thoughts with Dave.
Yeah.
You've got to grade the critical factors. Instincts, competitiveness, strength, explosion, athletic ability, and you've got to grade their play speed. I don't care what a guy runs on a watch in his underwear. I don't care. It's how fast is he playing on the field? How does he carry his pads? That's what's important.
The fact is,
how does he carry his pads?
Is that a figurative
jerk or
literal?
No jerk, Guillermo? How does he carry his pads? Please tell me we have an endless fountain of sound from the guy who invented football.
There's a report that you're releasing Brandon Marshall.
Really?
Can you comment on that?
Yes, we have. Next question.
Oh, wow. You're shocked by the question.
What's that?
Why now?
Well, he's we're releasing him failed physical.
Does that mean you guys have interest in Des Bryant? He has interest in you guys?
I have interest in everybody.
No!
I have interest in everybody.
Gentlemen.
We do our film work, and you never know.
Did he just lie to us?
Yeah, he did.
Des Bryant
lied since he was a kid, though.
Des Bryant sent him a box with a Des Bryant sign in it.
Old Gettleman.
Sound of the Day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade the shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today.
I can't talk about this guy enough. Like, I love the idea of we're interested in everybody. Des Bryant, we're interested in everybody. Have you seen the players that he has? Like, he's waving the one guy we knew. And the other guy is going to urinate all over New York before he's done. The guy with the blonde hair is going to just urinate all over their fan base before he's done. And Gettleman's going to have to trade him because he's not a Gettleman guy.
And despite having a high draft pick, he is staying loyal to this quarterback who is
That's the greatest thing.
Yes.
That the guy who invented football is going to he's going to ride Eli Manning for the next 14 years because he's a football guy.
It's all about how Eli carries his pads.
That's
Odell Beckham's problem is that he probably looks at Dave Gettleman and says, to himself at least, what are you even talking about?
Oh, you know what's funny? Wait a minute. Josh Norman's coming through here. Doesn't he hate Gettleman? Don't all the Panthers hate Gettleman?
I think Gettleman was the guy who traded Norman away.
Wait a minute. What? Josh Norman's here and it's next.
Don Le Batard.
I'm going to eat my wings with blue cheese, and a lot of it, and I'm going to come in here with blue cheese on my face and a couple of napkins. Too bad. Stop complaining about it.
Stugotz.
No one told you can't eat wings. You decided that on your own. That's a you choice, not a me choice. It was a me choice, an us choice. We'd be eating wings every day. We'd both have we'd be slathered in blue cheese, both you and I.
We'd be slathering it on each other?
Yes, that's my dream.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Thanks to Pablo Torre and Josh Norman for joining us in studio and giving the Straight Talk brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Your name was mentioned in the same sentence as Josh Norman.
First was mentioned first.
Yes,
was mentioned first.
It was. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
Unlike what it will be on the Bomani Jones vehicle that Pablo Torre will be on one day.
Yes, I'm contractually second.
Josh Norman with us on ESPN Radio. You know he's one of the best at what he does, and we've liked his personality for a long time before, many people had been introduced to his fun personality. And we've been talking about Dave Gettleman before you got here. We've been for months. Mike, explain to Josh. I was trying to explain it to Josh Norman. Explain to Josh Norman what our show's viewpoint is on Dave Gettleman, so we're not blindsiding him here, so that he can understand what the context is for all this.
Football guy that's smarter than everybody else. No time for any of these advanced measurements or anything like that. He knows a football guy when he sees one, and he trusts his gut more than anything.
Yeah, that gut is going to get rid of players who are troublemakers and might have personality because they don't fit in the culture of what he's building.
Well, his gut. He got rid of me, and so far, they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Was his gut? I guess, was it right or was it wrong? I don't know.
So what happened like that? They got rid of Josh, and then they got rid of Gettleman.
Carried your pads wrong, I think, was the scouting report.
I walked out there wrong with just one sock missing, so I guess he had to get rid of me from that.
Well, I did think, though, wasn't Gettleman, weren't there a bunch of different people before he got that job with the Giants?
It was crazy. It wasn't just, me. I wouldn't take, full responsibility in that. It was other guys that he was trying to, put on the chopping block as well. So I guess, the big guy had enough of it and chopped him.
So, but is it cold-blooded, or is it just that he didn't the perception that I've gotten from Gettleman is that he feels like he was responsible for 15-1, not the rest.
Come on, man, be real. Come on. All right, let's stop this. All right now, let's stop the BS, because that's really what it is, BS. When you look at it, Marty Herney, when he brought in the players that he brought in, Gettleman just pretty much went right into his seat. Don't get me wrong, he drafted some great players and players that helped out in what was already there. They had a hand in that and was able to make moves and do different things with that. And really the philosophy of Coach Ron Rivera, was the glue to everything. When you look at it, Marty Herney was the one that, brought him in, and he didn't let him go when he, got chopped. So, Rivera's still there, and he still had his whole, montage of what he wanted to do, and he created his formula. And Gettleman had his, and they worked well together with each other at the same sense. But, it was really, he wanted to be about him. It was Gettleman's show.
But that's what we think.
That's
our assessment. If Gettleman's
great
there,
quotes.
if Gettleman's there, it's Gettleman's show. It's not Cam Newton's show. It's not Josh Norman's show. It's not going to be Odell Beckham's show.
Josh, on the list of people responsible for that 15-1 season, you went to the Super Bowl. Where does Gettleman land on that list?
We're not trying to agitate you into the controversial quotes. We like to laugh at Gettleman. That's it. We're not trying to do the publicity.
He was, okay. We want to ask that question. He was top shelf. Numero number one.
In his mind.
Top shelf.
Yes.
Uno numero one. Josh Norman is Dancing with the Stars athletes. It premieres Monday, April 30th at 8 p.m. on ABC. This show has done a lot with athletes in the past. This one's going to be just athletes. Who are you competing against?
Athletes. It's just athletes. It's crazy. It's the first show that's ever done to where it's just athletes. You have softball,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in
NBA
this,
professional
apparently.
player, Luigi professional player, skaters, a couple skaters. Oh my gosh, it's unreal, how they are in this competition. And I'm just like, well, yeah, skaters, they dance for a profession, for a living, and we going against that. So we're the only NFL player that's in it, in our league. So it's gonna be obviously a good thing we go out there and represent for the league and for the guys that play ball, and not go out there and choke.
Why do it though? Why do it? Why risk it? Is it money, attention, wanting to be something outside of football and sports? You're wearing face masks. You want people to know your face. Why do it?
No, man, I don't need it as a professional career for myself and my face and what I've done. I don't need that type of publicity and pub. Why I chose to do it, and only reason why I chose to do it, is for my nonprofit organization, Stars 24. Getting that face out there to try to be on the same level as we are, and letting people know that I want to do something to betterment other people and my hometown, which is really, struggling right now from, gang related activities and people shooting each other and killing each other. It's a big deal out there, and it's bigger than just me. So I want to bring back a rec center there, to try to help the kids out to where they have a safe haven to go. And that is the main reason why I decided to do it. And whatever I do and get from this show, I really want to pump that up to Stars 24 and give it all back to them so we can build that rec center for the kids.
But this seems like a terrifying thing, potentially, Dancing with the Stars.
Jason Taylor told us it was worse than any football game, and that his mouth got an uncommon kind of dry before he had to perform, and it was worse than any nerves he ever had.
Oh my gosh. It is. I would say the amount of hours you put into a dance routine and trying to get it all down, and you still as trying to be a, perfectionist, you lose every day. And you do 4 or 5 hours a day of just rehearsing. Rehearsing. They only cut it to now 6 days a week where you can only do 4 to 5 hours instead of 7. And after I get done with OTAs, which is from 8 to 12, I go, get a little break, and then I go right into dancing.
How's Washington feeling about this? This does not, yeah. Hold on a second. Hold on. No, hold on a second. Hold on. You went to work for Fox and didn't tell anybody at Washington that you were going to do that. You signed the contracts.
Come on. People knew I was doing that.
They learned. They got mad. Yes or no? They got mad. Yes or no?
No. If they got mad, I don't think I would have done it.
They knew in advance?
They knew what I was doing. I mean, come on. They're not going to tell everybody that. You think you got to pass it through the higher ups before you do anything? Like if you was come to work and your producer say, okay, well, I'm going to say this on the show. You don't think you're going to say something to him before you say it on the show?
How is this going over with Gettleman if he was your GM and you told him I was doing Dancing with the Stars?
I don't think that guy would make that call. So at the end of the day, I would probably go above him to be like, this is what I'm doing.
Oh, wait. So you
right over Gettleman's
so wait a minute. So you fly straight to Snyder and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing Dancing with the Stars for my foundation.
It's not that, I kind of believe in the chain of command. I truly believed in that, and I let people know on each individual level what we're doing before we do it, so nobody get like blindsided, because that happens. It does happen, so I don't want to blindside.
It happened with Travis Kelce in that reality show with the Kansas City Chiefs. They got all bent out of shape because he did that reality show dating 50 women.
See, that's the thing. I guess you don't know those things. The PR team have crisis, and it's real, and it's out there. I try not to have, crisis for our team. I try to let everybody know what I'm doing. I think that's a professional way to do it.
Let's try to start a crisis right now. Who's better, Kirk Cousins or Alex Smith?
There you go.
Boom!
Look.
Boom! Boom!
Fire.
What is
already.
the opinion? What is the Who's better? Who's better, Josh Norman? Kirk Cousins.
Everybody in
Who's
this
the
room,
better
man.
value?
You guys are out the chain here. I tell you what. They asked me that question the other day on ESPN.
Did you answer it? Or?
No,
he can't
not
answer
ESPN,
that.
but it was on our show we did with Skip.
No one knows.
Was on that show.
No one knows that show.
No one knows. Don't know who you're talking
you
about.
guys may not know it, but I was on there talking about it, so I'm going to speak it.
All right.
You know what I'm
But no one
saying?
saw it,
I
is
was
what
on
we're
it.
saying.
So you were asked.
So I'm saying that right now.
You were asked that question.
But I was asked
seriously?
the question seriously. I see you guys in the back. Yeah, I'm like, God, Tony, he said it. I don't care. I'm telling you what it was. So it was on that show. They asked me that question. And when they asked me that question, I said it in the way I felt that way. It was no shade, no disrespect to anybody. I've never tried to do that in any kind of way. I mean, I feel like everybody is on the platform and where they at. Everyone has leverage. And the way you use your leverage is the way you feel like you want to benefit yourself in life. He uses leverage. He benefited himself, and he's where he's at, and he got what he got. So when we talk about Alex Smith and Kirk Cousins, both of those guys are great in their own way. Both of them. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to speak about Alex. He's my teammate. He is the person who's going to lean the hem of our Washington, D.C. team. Washington Redskins. But he is that guy for us.
But who's greater in a football way?
Kirk Cousins is leading the Minnesota
But in a
Vikings.
football way.
Okay. So in that way, in that terminology, they felt they got the best person for what they paid for in that moment in time. Hey,
boom!
There you have it.
He
So
nails
why
the
would I
dismount.
give anything
He
else?
nails the dismount. And he gets out of here without
Get out of here,
crisis. Way
man.
to go.
I'm
Get
just
out of here,
saying.
media.
I'm just saying.
Get out of here, media, trying to create
I'm telling
controversy.
you, man, you smoke is real in here. Smoke is real.
Yeah.
It is.
So go ahead, ESPN. Go ahead and grab
420.
that. Josh Norman just told you Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Alex Smith in every way, but happens to play for the Vikings. That's what I just heard. I don't know if you guys heard it differently. It was clear to me.
Very clear. Crystal.
Don Le Batard.
It's Friday. I'm getting into the weekend. I want to get my drink on.
Stugotz.
We've got to open up the club. Open it. Open it. Open it. Now. What is the computer buffering? There it is.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Tune in to Golic and Wingo live next Thursday and Friday from Arlington, Texas for the NFL Draft, brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book at LQ.com and win at business. The club is dressed up by thebblacktux.com. Looking great at your big event is easy with thebblacktux.com. To score $20 off your purchase, visit thebblacktux.com/Dan.
So we do this show on television. Excuse me for what just happened to my voice there.
What happened there?
Pablo Torre with us on ESPN Radio. We will open up the club in a second. Many of you, because the show is on television, are asking why I hugged Josh Norman that way. We have a long, awkward hugging history that dates back, Mike. I don't know how long this dates back. 2 years, 3 years?
He was a Carolina
3 years,
Panther
yeah.
at the time.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so I hugged him. The security cameras here at the Clevelander, I hugged him upon seeing him, and the security cameras at the Clevelander caught it, and it was a very awkward hug.
Yeah, I still can't watch it. Like, I just can't watch it because I know that the hug is coming. I know the awkwardness is coming, and I just start cringing as it's all happening and converging together.
So now every time I see him, I hug him as awkwardly as humanly possible. And that last segment ended with me basically just cannonballing on him. It just, it was very awkward hug. It was going to be a handshake, and then it turned into something else.
The people behind him work with Josh Norman, and they are here, and they were regretting in the hallway how they have to be in the background of this humiliating meme. Like, it radiates awkwardness to the point where people don't even want to be associated with that visual in any way.
Well, what happened at the end of the last segment that was so objectionable, though, because we're getting a lot of people writing in that this hug was inappropriate, that it was awkward. So maybe someone can explain it to me. I don't know what it looked like on television. I do know that it looked like I sort of tackled Josh Norman while he was in a chair.
Well, as you know, we're the biggest show in sports radio
That's right.
now. And we have a lot of.
What's that? I didn't hear
We're
you.
the biggest show in sports radio now, and we got that way because of an influx of so many new fans. So a lot of people maybe don't know the history. So it just seems as though you were doing an inside joke that the bulk of our massive, massive audience didn't get.
Yes. Open up the club.
Hold on. Polls. That's a fun.
Why do I have to do the polls?
We discussed this before we came back on air here. We have to do the polls today.
Do a poll.
Okay, the Twitter poll is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's.
Boom, that's
4 for
why
4.
we have to do the poll.
There
right
you go. Yep, that answers your question.
And I love Wendy's.
Wendy's, so do I. Oh, the
best
spicy
chili in the world.
That's the best fast food in the world.
Yeah. Time out.
In the world.
Spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh, so good.
I defy you to give me a better fast food menu option.
Seriously, I defy you, because right now we're talking about Wendy's.
The fries are the best. The fries are the best.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Frosty!
I defy you.
Whoa! Wendy's 4 for 4 now has 8 different sandwich options available at participating Wendy's
Where's
for a
that
limited
board
time
where
only.
I hit the loser game show sound? Where did it go? Did Josh Norman take it?
I had to move
That's
it to make it right next to Pablo. No, Pablo has access to all the sound.
What does this do?
Yeah. Hit another one. No. Another one. No. Yeah.
Open up the club. Open it.
Hold on, Harry,
Open it. You can read it during the club. Open it.
Okay.
Open it.
Did we hold Ilyasova in check? 64% of the audience said no.
Damn it.
Is Pablo the reason they call it the process? 53% of the audience said no. How does he carry his pads? Jerk or no jerk? 86% of the audience said jerk.
All right.
Oh, you skipped CAG.
Oh, I forgot about CAG. I'm sorry about that. Do you know what a CAG is?
That's very Miami.
89% of the audience said no.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Sounds from the club. Sounds from the week. Sounds that open up your weekend, even though it's 12:51 Eastern. Let's go. Open it.
I don't have the slightest idea.
That is Wayne Newton, hockey correspondent, giving us all of his hockey knowledge.
I don't have the slightest idea.
What else you got in the club?
I don't know.
That's that pioneer Henry Abbott.
I don't know.
These are the people we bring on for
That's
sports.
right. This is the analysis of one Henry Abbott, true hoop pioneer.
I don't know.
Who else is in the club?
Would you take a pay cut to kind of equal things out?
No. Pay cut? No. That's going too far.
All right. That is Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson loves women, thinks they should be equally paid, but...
No.
What? I'm unclear on what you're doing. Okay, I heard you.
No.
All right, I'm sorry to argue with you. I mean, just a couple of dollars maybe to give to the women? Just a couple of dollars?
No. That's going too far.
Who else is in the club? Oh.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football.
Why don't we ask Josh Norman what he thinks of that song? Who else in the club?
Cody Ballinger? Bruh. He's exciting.
I mean, enough.
That's the Surfer Palm Tree that's advertising baseball.
Yeah.
As a palm tree, I keep it pretty chill up here.
Surfer Palm Tree is...
You're a thief, dude! I'm coming for you!
Attaboy.
Chop you down with my board, bro!
Whoa.
Whoa, that's a threat.
Who else in the club? Oh, that's me almost throwing up. Yeah. We're going to have a contest. Yep, that's me almost throwing up yesterday. After Guillermo actually threw up. You were going to have a contest. You were going to have a contest.